When you eat fresh produce from the grocery store, like fruits and vegetables, you probably don't think about all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes, like the farmers, the workers, how it gets shipped to the grocery store. But something that you probably don't think about is pesticides. Pesticides are applied to almost everything, including all of these crops, and these pesticides have some very, very harmful effects. Some good effects in terms of farmers, but some bad effects as well. And it's really important to study all of these effects. And also, how do you limit your exposure to these pesticides? And why are these pesticides used in the first place? And what impact does this have on the ecosystems, on humans, and even the future? Well, in this episode, I'm going to be talking to Dr. Changmou Xu. He studies food processing and pesticides at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, and he knows a lot about pesticides and their impacts and what we can do to avoid eating all these pesticides and the truth behind all these pesticides uncovered right here in this episode. Let's get into this interview. Let's go.
Hey, morning.
Good morning. So can you please introduce yourself to the listeners?
Sure. Hey, everyone. I'm Dr. Changmou Xu. I'm an assistant professor at the Food Science and Nutrition Department of the University of Illinois Champaign-Urbana. So my research focuses on the intelligent food processing and also sustainable food system. So basically, I use AI or data technology combined with the food processing to create a more healthy, more safer, and more green product for consumer. I also teach in food processing course and product development course, mentor students, and work with the food industry to transfer our research in the lab to make a improvement of the food production, makes it more safer. So I'm happy to share with you about the topic we are discussing today.
Yes, thank you so much for joining me today. Now, before we get to more about pesticides and food production, how did you get interested in science?
Oh yeah, so it's well, I mean, when I look at back, I really don't know why I started looking at the food science, the science, but I do have a passion for math, chemistry, physicals. So I believe all those naturally lead me to like the science. And then I'm always curious to think how things happen. It's not just how to understand it, but also how we can find a solution to solve that problem. I believe this philosophy, include all my previous study, even my current research. We are always thinking, okay, so what happened and how we can use this one to solve the problem. Let me take an example for my previous research. Say we studied the sugar berry grow in the Midwest and say how this berry can benefit to our health and what is the challenge for this industry to grow. And we studying different things to identify the benefit and do the research in the lab and then later transfer that to a commercial application. So this is naturally involved.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
all those questions like how does this happen? How does that happen? How can this help the world? Those are types of questions that drive scientists like you, which is just amazing.
Yeah, so just keep ask a question and think about how we can make a change, make it better.
Yeah, and speaking of questions, I have a bunch of questions lined up for you about pesticides and food production. So first of
Mhm.
all, why are pesticides used on fresh produce, and what bad effects does it have on us, the plants, and the environment?
Yeah, I mean, for the pesticides, definitely the goal is to protect the crop. As you know, for the crop grow, like a strawberry, they have many other harmful factors like the pest, the disease, the uh, the weeds. I mean, all those will harmful the growth of that crop. So it will damage the crop or reduce the yield. So typically the farmer, in order to provide the good yield of the crop and ensure the sustainable food supply chain. So they will typically apply the pesticides to control those diseases, make the crop grow well. The pesticides typically include the insecticides that kill the insects, and also herbicides kill the weed, and also the fungicide kill all those mold and the fungus. So definitely this is the reason why the pesticide applied widely in the agriculture system. But as also you mentioned the harmful, definitely they have harmful. Since when you apply the pesticide, first they will be have the pesticide residue, like the strawberry or other fruits. They typically will residue in the food have some percentage. They even can be accumulated. Then that will be passed with the food chain. If we eat those food, they will have certain harmful to our health. Definitely they have a level. So they have typically have a minimum level them to be safe. But if you eat a large amount of those pesticides over time, then will be a potential health issue for our human. It also will harmful to other insects. Since in the natural environment, some good insects and also bad insects, those pesticides they typically kill all the insects. This includes the beneficial insects like the bees and the butterfly. This is really helpful. So you also kill those. That will result in the imbalanced ecosystem. And also we are harmful to the soil. Like if you apply the pest to the crop, they will go to soil. And the soils have a lot of microorganisms in the soil, which usually helps the healthy soil. If you kill those microorganisms, then will be reduce the quality of the soil. Then will be hard to grow next year. Then the water system, if you apply a lot of pesticide, when the rainfall coming, it will go to the water system, go to the river, the lake, even the ocean. So those pesticides will be accumulated, and after a long time, they will have harmful effect to the aquatic life, like the fish, and also our drink water system. So as you say, this have a lot of side impact. Even some pests, they can adapt. That means the resistance. So if you apply the pest like this year, you use maybe 100 ppm is enough, but those pests they can adapt to, they can become more and more stronger. That means next year you use maybe 1,000. So you keep on increase concentration. This over the time, you will use a lot of pesticide, then will be create significant impact, negative impact to the environment, even our health. Yeah, so this will be good thing and a bad thing. So we have to balance.
Hmm. And especially the resistant part of what you said, eventually you can't even use the pesticides that you have right now. So it basically becomes pointless at that point because you can't treat the pests that you're trying to treat because they've evolved and changed over time. And a
Yes.
similar thing is like antibiotics with the
Yeah.
bacteria. Eventually
Yeah.
they get resistant. So it's same with pesticides. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of similar. That's why for the research field, they do have a lot of research committed to this area to see how we can adjust the resistance. So this is really a challenge. You cannot increase the concentration forever or use even more toxic pesticide because this will, at the end, will harmful to our health, ourselves.
Yeah, and more pesticides used, the more it affects the environment and humans who consume that food. Eventually, it just harms everyone in that kind of loop that you're talking about because
Yes,
of pesticides.
yes.
Really interesting, and all the research that you're doing is kind of helping us go into the future and look more progressively and finding out more solutions.
Hmm.
So, why are pesticides especially becoming a big problem for the environment around us? Not just humans, but ecosystems, like you mentioned, the bees going dying and butterflies. Why is it becoming such a big problem, especially now in let's say these last 10 years we've been hearing more things about pesticides becoming more harmful, and why is it happening right now?
Yeah, as we just mentioned, I think the resistance will be because important issue. At the initially, we just use, a low concentration, right? But those paths they become stronger, the weed became stronger. Doesn't mean you will have to increase the concentrate and use even more toxic. As yeah, then when you increase those, it can be go to the environment. Since some pesticides they use maybe with some heavy metal, those can be accumulated. It can go to our environment like the soil, harm the soil and the water system, and also harm to other insects because those pesticides they are non-targeted since they are not to a certain type of harmful uh, insects, but also some good insects. So those will be a issue. And when those pesticides typically they're not easy degrade for certain type, then looks like our environment get more and more those pesticides go to the food, water, soil, and also have damage to the biodiversity and the ecosystem. So this will be, in the long term, it will be an issue.
Yeah, especially the water, the runoff that you're talking about. That's
Yes,
especially a big problem because the water is the foundation for everything on Earth. If that water gets polluted, it's really hard to get it out of the water, and eventually you'll start drinking that. It's just an endless loop of problems because of
yes,
pesticides.
yes. So they can go to the ocean, go to the river, and the under under else well water. So this will be a big issue.
Yes, so what are some alternatives to pesticides that scientists are working on? Are there any alternatives or safer solutions that are being in play that are being put into place right now?
Yeah, definitely they have this is the research focus. One area is to deal some biopesticides. So this is not the traditional chemical. They use a natural source uh, ingredient like from the plant, from the fungi and other source. So typically the natural source, they have a minimal environmental impact. They still can be effective and also they can be targeted to specific insects. So not just everyone. So they are more targeted. So this will be help you kill the bad insects. So this is one area to the research. Another you are and some research focus on the integrated management. Like they can grow uh, the crop, the rotation. So typically farm they grow the crop will be rotation. Like this year they grow this type of fruit, and next year they can grow next type. So because of rotation, you can change uh, the insect. Some certain insects or weed they will prefer one type of produce. If you change it to another one, they may do not have enough food, so they cannot keep on get more and more those insects. And some they also can grow like the biological control. So they can grow different crop together. Like you can plant some tree outside the crop or plant several different type of crops there. The goal is to maintain a ecosystem. Like you have some other pests like ladybug, they can use another type of heart disease. So it's more like a natural. It's more like use a natural control, like a ecosystem. They have a circle. This bad insects they can eat the crop, but another type of uh, insects can eat that bad insects. So this is some practice. You also can use some mechanical control. Some crops they put the net to cover the crop, but this is the limit to the small scale. Yeah, the small scale, and also You also can control the chemical use, like the pesticides. Even you want to use, you need to identify the best time to use and the best concentration to use. You just do not use whatever concentration you want. You can minimize to identify the best time to use. There are some research like use AI and data science technology to monitor the growth of those disease or insect and then identify the best time, best concentration to use to kill those bad insects. And so this is typically their control. Of course, they have more and more organic farm now. They have more organic farm, and so they typically run the pesticide-free and practice. So that's why if you go to some supermarket, you can see organic farming, but the price is a little more important.
Mhm.
Yeah. So another is some scientists in the crop science, they can through the genetic and breeding innovation. So they will, as we heard a lot of say, this crop is pest resistance. So it's like a genetic engineer to develop new caliber. So those will the bacteria and also insects, they don't like that crop. So it's kind of balanced. Some people they do not like the transgenic crop, but another side is pesticide residue. So it's kind of balanced. But they do have some crops they throw the genetic engineer to get the new caliber. Yeah, so this is a several different type of approach. You can use biopesticides. You also can use the genetic to introduce a new caliber. And also you can manage farm either through organic practice, or you can use physical cover the crop or diversify the crop to make a ecosystem and control those bad insects.
Wow, that's a lot of approaches to this one problem, and it's probably going
Yeah.
to expand these. We're probably going to get more approaches in the future because this is a rapidly developing problem currently, and researchers like you will find out maybe new solutions. And you're saying the genetic, gene editing and all that. That's another new field, and there's so many
Mhm.
different ways that scientists are working on it. But what are some things we can do to limit our exposure to pesticides?
So for us, right? I mean, if you go to the supermarket, definitely you can choose organic food, right? If you, okay, I want a healthy food, I want to pay a little more. So you can choose organic food. I think this is the one way. Another, if you may not have enough budget to buy those, then you can choose a regular, food, but make sure like the produce, make sure you want to wash because those pesticides are water soluble. So you will rinse with the water and put the water immerse for maybe 10, 15 minutes to make sure this can be significantly reduced. You even can use some like soda, baking soda, and also the vinegar to help clean those pesticides. Does help decrease those pesticides. And then some time since the pesticides they apply by spray on the surface of the produce crop. Some so you can remove the peel like the apple and some other fruits have the peel. Typically the peel, the skin have a lot of pesticides. So you can peel the fruit, then help you remove significant parts. And also you can uh, if for some like the vegetable, you can cook because on the heat treatment, some pesticides they will be degraded. So if you cooking at the heating, then the pesticides will be degraded. So this one, and also for each type of pesticide, they have a minimal required amount. Then let's say if you eat one type of fruit, you can 1 kilogram. You eat that type of pesticide, maybe that means try to diversify. Do not eat one type of fruit or vegetable over a long time because you will get accumulated a certain type of pesticides. So if you diversify your fruit, since those fruits or vegetables, they may apply different type of pesticides. So this can avoid you involve eat too much certain type of pesticides. Yeah, so this will be something you can consider. Also, you can look at the label and say how they are growing. Some uh, some farms have good reputation. They may have good farm practice, so they more pay attention to safety. But if some farm they do not have very good uh, practice, do not certify, they may use more pesticides. So this will be put your not a good situation. So as a consumer, we just be careful and be prepared to find some solution to help reduce the use of pesticides.
Yeah, and there's so much we can do just shopping at the supermarket, just looking at these basic things that we can do to avoid consuming too many of these pesticides. And like you said, diversity is important of all
Yeah.
the different fruits and vegetables that you're trying to eat. So that's some really, really great tips on how to kind of improve on this pesticide situation and how to avoid it as a consumer, as
Mhm.
yourself.
Mhm.
So now moving on to the next generation of future scientists. What advice do you have for kids who are interested in science?
Well, for kids, right? Definitely, I mean, the curiosity will be important. So
Mm.
for kids, I mean, even for my kids, because they always ask a lot of questions. I think it's good. So always, since you have curious and you ask a lot of questions, this if you ask questions, then you will have your learning. You learn, right? And then I will say after the question, and you will do it, try it. So if you find ask question, you get the answer. But sometimes you need to find the answer by yourself. This will help you to get a hands-on experience. So if you have an idea, curious about something, try to do it. You even just looking for the library and find the information and talk to people. So you can do it, and in that way, you will find a new question, and the new question will help you even want to learn more. So keep practice. And it's always if you do something failed, I think it's okay because you are always find the right solution, right answer, then will be keep you learn more and more. Definitely you need a passion. I think you have a passion to do this, and also you have some factor driven you to want to learn. Like say you want to not just to get the knowledge. As I mentioned previous, you really need something to solve the real world problem. If you have a problem want to solve, like say if you want to solve certain type of problem, this will, I mean, encourage you to learn more, and you will, after you solve that problem, you will be rewarded. I mean, even just by yourself, you will feel successful, and then this will keep you move to another problem. Yeah, I think there's no certain type of way I can suggest to kids, but always follow yourself. I mean, feel something you will be very valuable for yourself and also can do something meaningful. And then you can keep on working hard and find a different solution, talking to different people, use different tool, leverage different resources you have. Like you, I mean, you do this poster, I think will be very helpful for kids since you are dig different science topic and talk to different people, and this will be a good way to grow. Thanks for doing this wonderful things.
Yes, that's some really great advice. Always
Mhm.
ask questions and maybe in the future just change the world. Just asking yourself question, eventually discover something new and solve all these problems like you're doing right now. This pesticides, it's a big problem right now and researchers like you are the ones that are kind of like the superheroes. You're solving the problems for us. So, yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I really enjoyed it. I learned so much, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate the time and look forward your postcard get more and more successful.
Thank you so much. It's all thanks to you. All right, bye.
Okay, bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Spectacular Science. Spectacular Science produced and hosted by me, Akshay J. Raman, and our theme song, listener music are by Chan Ramachandran. Don't forget to visit spectacularsci.com to find interactive activities, articles, and blog posts. And if you have a science question you want to answer on a Spectacular Science episode and get a special shout out, head over to spectacularsci.com/contact to submit your question or tag us on Instagram at spectacularscipod. That's at spectacular SCIPOD. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast wherever you're listening right now. It really encourages me, and we'll be updating on all the new episodes. So subscribe and share this podcast with your friends and family. Thank you so much. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on our next episode of Spectacular Science next week. In the meantime, keep thinking about science.